Good afternoon everybody, and a very warm welcome on this glorious day here in South Africa. And there is blue sky, there's not a cloud in sight so far. Welcome on board Wendy this afternoon, and we're live here from South Africa in Djuma Game Reserve in the famous Sabi Sands. My name's Tara, and joining me on camera this afternoon is Andrew. Back in front of control is Brian, and the thumb, obviously keeping control that side. If you would like to ask any questions while we travel around Djuma this afternoon, then send your questions through to questions@wildearth.tv or send them through to Twitter, #SafariLive. And I'm so excited, I'm hoping that we're going to get quite further afield this afternoon than what we did this morning, and see if we can catch up with some wonderful creatures for you this afternoon. So let's get going. Now some of you might recognise I'm not on the quarantine area. I am on Zoe's Road, and we're just approaching Fullerman's cut line, just to mix it up a little bit. And we do have full signal back, so we can travel a few different roads this afternoon. But I'm still convinced there might be a leopard somewhere close to the lodge. So I would like to try and end up there this afternoon and see if we can find ourselves a spotted cat. But I would like to welcome on board some very special people who are my fellow PhD candidates from the University of Reading, and they are on board with us hopefully right now, and hopefully we can turn them into some regular WildEarth viewers. And welcome on board to Hugh, Yati, Sam and Rose and Elise. So I hope you're all doing well, and they're currently in a meeting with our supervisor, Professor Mark Fellows, and Dr. Becky Thomas from the University of Reading. And without their help in writing the paper on the leopard interactions that we saw here at Djuma Game Reserve, I'd never have been able to get that paper out and tell the academic world exactly what's been going on out here, which I think is extremely important. So welcome on board, guys. I hope we can find some interesting animals for you this afternoon. We do have quite a beautiful impala ram on the screen at the moment. And I think these are the three boys we've been seeing quite a lot of. And I see the wildebeest are in this area as well. It's nice to catch up with them. And it's very normal to see wildebeest and impala together, and other animals as well, because they'll actually make use of each other's strengths and weaknesses when it comes, or certainly the strengths when it comes to detecting the predators. Impala, obviously, good eyesight and good hearing, and the wildebeest also very good at detecting predators, and if there's more of them around, there's more numbers to detect those predators. So safety in numbers, so that's why you'll often find different species together, and they'll actually compete, or they won't compete for the same food. They'll actually eat different parts of the grass or different species of grass, so that's why they can actually get on quite comfortably together. Now, at the moment the rams are actually feeding on grass. They will feed on leaves as well, so they are what is actually known as mixed feeders, and the wildebeest are grazers, and they've actually got quite a wide mouth. We'll have a look at the wildebeest just now, and you'll see they've got a very wide mouth for trying to gather as much grass as possible per bite, whereas you can see here the impala have got a fairly narrow mouth, and that will actually help them to get in amongst the branches to pick off leaves as well. And you will find that with browsers. They've got quite a pointed face to allow them to get in amongst the branches to pick off the leaves. But I must say, these rams are in tip-top condition. They really are quite stunning. And it won't be too long before they start holding a territory. And unfortunately, the friendship that you see here now will cease to exist, at least for the breeding season. Let's go down and see the wildebeest. Thanks, boys. And there's one or two of the babies babies that you can still see. There's one on the road here. So the babies are about 2 months old now. And we've got a few of the adults just to the left there. Keep up, little one, otherwise you are going to be food for somebody. There you go, you can see that beautiful slaty blue. Hi Al from North Carolina, and good afternoon to you. Welcome on board Wendy this afternoon. And Al would like to know, how did the wildebeest get their name? And it literally translates as wild cow. So when the Afrikaners were crossing the country and they came across these animals, they actually thought they looked like a domestic cow, and I'm sure they thought they were related as well. And a lot of people do think the wildebeest is a type of cow, but it's not. It's actually an antelope. And of course its other name is the gnu, and it gets that because of its call. Let's see if I can actually imitate it for you this afternoon. And goes wang, wang. It always sounds to me like someone trying to start up a motorbike. Not quite getting it there. Doesn't quite kick in. There we go. I wonder if you heard that. That was a baby. Oing. He's calling back. So you have the brindle gnu. Oh. Welcome back everybody. Sorry, unfortunately a power outage again. We're having load shedding all this week, which means certain parts of the country lose power for a few hours. And it sounds like it's our turn these last week and a bit. Because it always seems to be scheduled at 4 o'clock, and that's quite normal, unfortunately. But welcome back. The wildebeest did start moving off. We did actually have a brown crowned chegra that came to sit on the tree just opposite us. Unfortunately, we lost you just as that happened, which is a shame, because you don't get to see him very often. So we shall leave the brindle gnu. The brindled part comes from the stripes on the body. I say the gnu part is the call that they make. I think most of Europe call the wildebeest gnu. I know in the UK we call it wildebeest, although we pronounce it slightly differently. But being in South Africa for 9 years and working with quite a number of Afrikaans guides, I soon got it shaken out of me. I really have to think hard at how to say it the English way, wildebeest. I think America calls them gnu as well. Not too much going on. We've got lots of the wildebeest tracks. So they've obviously been around here most of the day. I think we'll head down towards Treehouse Dam and then maybe we go across to Cheetah Cliff Line. Maybe just have a quick check on the hyena den. And then make our way back towards Mvubu Road and that little 2-track that goes behind. That was screaming leopard habitat to me yesterday when we were driving around there. I really was quite surprised we didn't run into the leopard there. So yeah, we'll check out the dams while it's still very warm. Let's see if we can't get lucky with maybe a cat sitting up under the shade, or maybe even an elephant or two drinking or wallowing in mud. Very nice to see this afternoon. Or even a hyena. We have known hyenas to do that as well when it is extremely hot. They'll go and sit in a mud wallow and try and cool off. I'd love to know what happened to that hyena this morning. And we do actually use quite a number of Afrikaans names for the animals. Klipspringer, which is a dwarf antelope, stands maybe about that sort of height. And unfortunately we don't see them around here, it's not very rocky. I was just saying to, oh hello, who's in the road there? Is that a daker? Could be the back end of a daker, yeah. There it goes. A grey daker, or common daker as it's otherwise known as. But the klipspringer means stone jumper. That's the literal translation. So it tends to be on the rocky outcrops. So where there's a rocky habitat, let's say it's fairly flat here at Djuma, but where you get the rocky outcrops, you might get the klipspringers. Where did the daker go? And the daker's another one, means to dive. Dives through the bush, and it looks like it has. Gone. Just checking the trees to see if there's any leopard lying around there. Or what I have found, because when I was younger I always thought that leopards would actually sit in trees, and I think that's a bit of a misconception that we've been given, because the leopards further north in Kenya and Tanzania tend to sit in trees a lot more, and I think it's to get away from a lot of the biting insects. Whereas here, we find the leopards tend to sleep on the ground more, into the bushes or into the trees, unless they've got a kill, and they'll be in the tree with the kill. But yeah, we don't find the leopards in the trees as much as what I would have thought. Treehouse Dam. Let's take Shabam Road. Maybe we'll go down Shabam Road and come in from the southern side. Let's try that, because I don't think you've been down this road yet, have you? No. It's quite nice and thick here, so there's plenty of shade, and there's a little pan just at the end here and it might have got some water in it. I always remember seeing a Fufanyani here, which is Karula's father, and possibly the father of her first set of cubs, 2 girls. If you're new to the drives, you're welcome on board this afternoon. And this is pretty much, if you've never been on a safari before, this is pretty much what a safari entails. You go out and you look for animals, and the guide tries to put you in the areas where you might be likely to find the animals. Some days there's a lot of activity, some days there's not, but the days that there isn't a lot of activity by some of the larger animals, you can appreciate other things that the bush has to offer. So we'll be stopping for a few small things as well along the way. And as the temperatures start to decrease, I'm hoping the cats will start moving around a little bit again. But I do seem to remember this is what happened last time. When lions passed through the area, it would be a number of days before the leopards would show themselves again. Because lions are not the greatest friends with leopards. And especially the sticks. Oh, what's going on there? There's some birds calling in here. Can't quite see who's making that noise. I've never heard that clicking before. Are you picking that clicking up?
Yeah.
I can see some white crested helmeted shrikes just off to the right, but I don't think that clicking's coming from them. Now it could be that they're alarming. There could be a snake in there. Good afternoon, Lutu so far. There's a little bit of commotion there. If I drive forward, you might be able to see the white-crested helmeted shrikes. But I'm struggling to see who's actually producing those clicks. And they're bobbing around this silver cluster leaf just at the back there, just to the right of your screen. So you might see, I think one's just flown off. And this is the beauty about the African bush. There is always something new to learn about. I say I've lived in in the bush for about 9 years now, and every day there's something new. It's fantastic. Okay, I'm just going to drive on a little bit more and just see if we can't pick up those helmeted shrikes for you. I'm just having a look as far into the bush as I can see, just in case there was a ground predator around. I'd say it could as easily have been a snake, because when the birds start alarming, it'll actually attract other birds so that they can actually keep an eye on where the snake's moving, just in case there's any nests around and they can keep their nest safe. There goes the white-helmeted shrike. Actually, it might be the helmeted shrikes. I just heard it clicking then. Okay, here we go. There they are. They're in the tree here. You're able to get them just to the left. I think it was them. There might have been a couple actually sitting in the tree, and the rest of the family were what I was seeing that weren't giving the call. Yeah, there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 6 in the family. I was seeing probably about 3 or 4 in the tree here, so the other 2 or 3 must have been in the back there. But whatever caught their attention, upset them, has obviously moved away, and that's the side effect. Predator. They can actually change its course or chase it out the area completely, and that's exactly why birds will do that. And if they can attract other birds to that area and actually join in the calling, then there's more eyes and ears to detect where it's going, just like with the impala and the wildebeest. More eyes and ears to detect where the predator's coming from or going. So he loses his element of surprise. But with them flying off, fortunately, looks like it did move out the area. But I didn't see any movement on the ground. Now, someone was saying to me that they heard, when we had the elephant approaching, they heard the birds chirping, sounded like they were giving an alarm call. Now, if that was the case, it wasn't anything to do with the elephant approaching us. Animals will only give an alarm call if there's anything potentially dangerous to them. So it's nothing to do with what's going on around them, but if there is a predator, they'll alarm call for that. So again, it could be an eagle flying over or sitting in a tree, it could be a snake, it could be a ground predator, it could be something as small as a mongoose. I have seen birds call for slender mongoose. So anything that can potentially eat them, that's when they give the alarm call. So they won't necessarily give an alarm call for buffalo, rhino, antelope, elephants, because there's no need, there's no danger to them. Okay, we're just going to check out this little pan, and then we're going to go down towards Treehouse Dam. But this little pan is dry. Oh no, it's not. There's a little bit of water here. Is there anybody here? No. I'm just going to turn around and have another look, because sometimes just driving back the other way you can get a different angle around the bushes, and occasionally you do have to see something of interest because of it. I'm just going to turn around. Nice big game trail, just running behind this little pan. That bush fax machine's going. The rattling Sister Cola. A nice termite mound to be sitting on right now. Have a little bit of wind, quite a lot of shade. Oh, hello, we've got a couple of buffalo just to the left there. Hello, boys. Forgot about that little pan actually. And especially this time of year, it can be a little bit more difficult to find the animals because there's lots of these little pans in the bush. So the animals don't necessarily need to go to the water holes. There's plenty of water available and the vegetation is very thick. Whereas as the vegetation starts dying back, as we go into the winter time, it's slightly easier to detect the animals in the bush because it's not as thick and there's not as much water around, so you start getting what's called the waterhole effect. So the animals come down to the waterholes to drink because there's very few places they can find water. So if you sit at the waterhole, then you could potentially see a lot of animals. But it looks like there's a couple of Duggar boys there. Oh, very nice. Apparently there is an elephant and a baby at the waterhole at Gowrie. So if you can have a look at the waterhole camera, excuse me, you might be able to see that. We are quite away from Gowrie Down, so I don't think we're going to be able to get there quickly. But if you would like to see the Ellie and the baby there, then you can do. I would wager these boys have been here pretty much since this morning. It looks like he has actually done a bit of rolling around in the mud. You can see some of the mud on his horns. And they will try and cape as much of their body as possible, because it will help to keep them cool. But it does act as a natural sunblock as well. Oh, brilliant to hear, Mark. And apparently everyone has been distracted. They're supposed to be in a meeting. All my fellow PhD candidates. And they're supposed to be having a meeting discussing what the week has in store for them. But they've been distracted by the drive, so I think we could be making a few WildEarth regulars out of them. Great to hear. And I'm hoping for a leopard as well. I'd love for one just to pop out. And that's the beauty of what we're doing here. We are live. Literally anything can happen. We could just bump into a leopard as we go around the corner. Anything is possible. This is the African bush, and it doesn't get much wilder than this. But it also gives you some idea of how much work and effort does go into making wildlife documentaries, because you can see how much we have to drive around trying to locate the animals to begin with, and then sitting with those animals. I mean, if you've ever seen a documentary on buffalo, you see how often we find the buffalo just sitting, wallowing in the mud during hot days. So lots of hours are put into making wildlife documentaries. It doesn't happen overnight, and I think, especially in the past, people would come to Africa thinking that they were going to see the animals all lined up, waiting to see them, and it's just not the case. It's very different. And apparently there's a lot of action now with quite a number of ellies joining at the dam, Gowrie Dam. So we are actually on the southern side of Treehouse, so we should be coming up to the water very shortly, so we'll see if we have some elephants this side. And actually, some of you might remember being on board, we had Karula's father, Mafufenyan, who I was saying that was one of the places I remember first meeting him. And we actually had his grandson here, Shivambalana. And we had a leopard that none of us had seen before. He had quite a lot of scarring all over his face. And Shivambalana was actually close to the water's edge. He was this side of the dam wall, and the unknown leopard was the other side. And it was almost like grandfather came in and was protecting his grandson. Now, I don't know if he knew his grandson was actually there at that point, but he certainly knew after the stranger left. The stranger actually saw Mafufenyan and thought, I'm not getting involved in that. Yeah, nice. Spiderweb. And he decided that he would turn tail and run away. And Mafufenyan decided no, he's going to walk down towards the water, and he was probably about a metre, maybe 2 meters away from his grandson. Now, Mafufenyan has been known to kill cubs in the past. He didn't even bat an eyelid. He obviously knew the little boy was there, but he didn't try and go for him. He didn't try and interact with him. The little cub actually started walking towards him. He was probably about a year old at that point, roughly around the same time as we actually had that fantastic interaction that we wrote the paper about with Mark and Becky, who were on board this afternoon. I say, without them we wouldn't have been able to get that paper out into the academic world, so you definitely got to thank them as well for helping me write that and just to share with the world what we actually were able to see and witness here. And it was actually just over the way here, that's where we witnessed the father of the cubs. They were 1 year old at the time, and the 3-year-old son, all interacting together and not aggressively. I remember Shivambalana actually went up to his father. He wasn't overly impressed, I must admit. And he just sat there with his ears flat. But Shavinzi actually walked up to him and greeted him. Okay, so we're going onto the dam wall, and we do have a couple more buffalo here. Hi, Sally and Jim in Canada. Welcome on board. And I hope you're enjoying your morning coffee and the beautiful buffalo bulls that we have here for you this afternoon. Busy just chewing the cud, whiling the hours away until it becomes cool enough to go in search of more food. And I really don't blame them, and it is very warm this side. But they'd like to know what season is my favourite season, and just to thank everybody involved in making this all possible. And I tell you something, I was involved for 2 years, very privileged to be involved for 2 years with WildEarth. I'm very, very chuffed to be asked to come back to fill in for Mark for 2 weeks. And it still blows my mind that we're able to do this, to actually give you a live game drive wherever you are in the world, in the comfort of your own home, to bring Africa to you. There is something very, very special about that. And the fact that it is live, we just don't know what's going to happen. We can actually watch nature unfold. And for me, you know, that is the beauty of nature. You know, we try and put as much into books, but it's forever changing. Oh, hello. There was a red-billed oxpecker that came right up to us. I thought he was going to land on us then. But that is what nature is all about. It's forever changing. It's forever adapting. And the fact that we can actually share those adaptations with you and share those hidden secrets that for whatever reason have stayed hidden until now, like the interactions with the leopards. If you read the books, leopards are not supposed to interact, the males aren't supposed to interact with the cubs, and it's not supposed to be on a regular basis if they do, but you guys will witness the fact that it does happen. Why do I get the feeling these oxpeckers are spying ticks on us? They're flying right overhead. I've actually had that, and it was the family that used to live around here. I doubt it's these ones, maybe they're descendants. But they used to have a nest around here, and I actually had a young oxpecker come and sit on the vehicle. Unfortunately, we weren't live at that point, but absolutely breathtaking nonetheless. But yeah, they would like to know what season is my favourite season, and is there a big change between the seasons? Ah, okay. So I've just heard something on the Game Drive channel. Okay, someone's just found some tracks leading north from the Twin Dams area for leopard. So we are actually on the right track. So maybe we'll go into leopard this afternoon. That would be fantastic. And as I was saying to you guys, I would like to actually try out that little 2-track behind the lodge, and I've just heard that someone might have seen there might be some meat that side from a carcass. So it is possible that there has been a leopard that side. So my feeling has been right, I'm sure. I'm sure there's a leopard in that block. So we are going to be heading in that direction, so fingers crossed. But the seasons do change, and the summer, which is what we're in now, is our rainy season, and then you do start to see the leaves change colour, which obviously happens during the autumn everywhere else in the world as well, and you do see that subtle change. And the winter is very, very dry, and that's when we're more likely to get the fires. And as I say, the bush has died back quite a bit, so you can see the animals. And so for game viewing, it is one of the better times, but the animals aren't as in good condition as what they are now, because the food is a little bit more difficult to come by, so they don't look as in good condition as what you saw the rams earlier. And then as we're going from winter into summer again, that's when we're expecting the rains. So you start to see the flowers and all the blossoms, and it's beautiful. It really is beautiful to see all the different colours. So I don't know, I can't pinpoint one season. Each season has its good points, and obviously with the spring comes the babies, early summer, a lot of the baby animals. And obviously in the summer you have all this greenery as well. It's so lush, absolutely beautiful. Nyari at Treehouse Dam. I think we're going to leave these bulls. Hopefully I'm not going to disturb them as I carry along the wall here. I'm sorry boys if I do disturb you. Try and drive as slow as I can so as not to disturb them. Alright, mister. How are you? Ramona in Kansas City, welcome on board this afternoon. Great to hear from you. Ramona would like to know, do we have any hummingbirds here? And we don't have hummingbirds, but we do have something very similar, the sunbirds. And they pretty much fill the same role as hummingbirds. They're not able to beat the wings as fast as the hummingbirds, and they're not able to fly backwards like the hummingbirds, as far as I know, but they do look very similar. They have the curved bill and they have the metallic colours on the body. Oh, hello, hornbill. Text me. See which road Ephraim's taking. So what I want to do is see if I could take a different... okay. Copy, thanks. Who picked up the Enconzos from Twin Dams? thank you. I thought it was Oakland that picked up the... car for that, thank you. Okay, so it might have been this morning apparently that he picked up the tracks. So I'm thinking maybe we shouldn't head towards that area now and just see if we can get to see where at least the carcass is and see if we can catch up with that leopard. Because what we try and do, if there's a couple of vehicles out, we try and split the routes that we take so that we don't cross paths, so we can actually cover more ground. So if there was a vehicle that side, we're actually running parallel to that road now, so that if the animal has crossed over, I would then pick up the tracks, and if the animal stayed that side and it's on the road, then they would pick up the tracks. So we can actually try and follow where the animal is and work together to locate the animal. Apparently it might have happened earlier on today. It sounded like it was first thing, but I think he was just giving an update. So we may get a chance to see those ellies at the dam. It's very well camouflaged. Oh, right there on the right. Hello, lady. Nope, little boy. Just peeking above the top of the tree there. Well spotted. His head up. Now it looks, yeah, he looks like he's feeding on a buffalo thorn. And some of you may have seen the branch with quite some formidable weaponry on it. It has a straight thorn and a hooked thorn opposite each other, so it's not the easiest of plants to eat. Come on, out you come. There we go. Hello, beautiful boy. Now you can see the lumps on top of his head, and that's very characteristic of male giraffe. As they get older, they start sparring, and they use their heads to hit each other. And that calcium will start to be deposited on the head to help build up essentially a crash helmet. So as they hit each other more and more, those calcium deposits build up, and as I say, it just acts like a shock absorber or a crash helmet to protect their skull. And that's one of the ways you can tell the difference between a male and a female. Females don't build these calcium deposits up because they don't fight each other. Hi, Jeremy from London. and welcome on board this afternoon, all the way from London. Jeremy wanting to know how many kilometres do I think I've clocked up over the week and a bit that I've been back. Oh, that's a difficult one. I really wish I had a K count on this vehicle. But I'm not entirely sure, to be honest. I couldn't even hazard a guess. But if you would like to ask any questions this afternoon, send them through to questions@wildearth.tv, #SafariLive. And it's wonderful to find a giraffe this afternoon. And we haven't really been seeing giraffe very much, but they're not territorial. They do wander over quite large distances. Have you got a scratch, my boy? He has as well. He's trying to scratch an itch. And they quite often walk over bushes like this. You can see he's using his front leg. It's going to be quite difficult. Oh, it sounds like they are following up on those tracks. Hi Steve, welcome on board. And Steve would like to know, does the foliage actually change colour in the autumn? And it does. For some of the trees they do change colour, but for many of the trees they do stay green. We do have the deciduous that do lose the leaves, and we do have the evergreens. He really has got quite an itch. I don't know if you can actually see this. I'm just going to try and get over the little rise there. There you go. Can you see? He's actually using the bush to scratch right between his legs, bless him. It really can't be easy being that tall and accessing those areas. And there you go, he's going to walk over the top of it. Are you all sorted now, mister? I hope so. It's actually getting quite dark. And they do tend to get darker with age. But it will be genetical. So it depends on their genetics how dark they'll get. And actually you can see the top of those ossicones, the horns, they are bold. And that is also another way you can try and tell the difference between a male and a female. The female has fur over the top of those ossicones, and the males, because again they've been fighting, the fur actually wears down. But you can't use it as an exclusive, because I have seen the odd female who's obviously been rubbing the top of the horns on trees and things, and the fur has worn down. And if you notice as well, they're quite blunt, the horns or the ossicones, and they're quite fat. Whereas with the females, the short and fat. Whereas the females, they're fairly long and thin. So that's another way that you can tell by the head of the giraffe if it's male or female. But you kind of have to put everything together. You can't just go off of one thing. I say we actually came across an extremely dark female. It actually looks like he's got a bit of a limp, this guy. Now, I have said in the past, giraffes are probably one of the best animals for locating cats. If they just stand there and watch, and they'll just constantly focus on one spot, you know there is a cat there. Because that's really the only thing that's going to be causing a problem to them. The lions in Kruger have actually learnt when it's wet, they can actually chase giraffe towards the tarmac roads, and the giraffes will actually lose their legs because it's so slippy, and they'll fall, and that's when the lions can actually come in and take them down. A bit too thick there. I thought we might get a nicer view if we just went up. We might still be able to see him slightly here. It's a little bit difficult there. One Dolomiti on Weaver's Nest Road. On Weaver's Nest Road. See how well they camouflage. On Weaver's Nest Road. Amazing, hey? Wouldn't even know a giraffe was there if he kept still. Happy cub. Welcome on board this afternoon. So we're just getting an update there. Trying this road just in case we can right. So they haven't located the leopard as yet, but it's somewhere possibly around Gary Dam. So we might just try Twin Downs and head up towards the road. We'll head up towards Gary Dam that way, because this runs alongside the drainage line. Hey, and Ellie's at the back of the dam, so we'll see if we can maybe catch up with them as well. Oops. can, just in case the cat's lying up here. So I'm getting distracted by looking for this cat now. Sorry, can you just send through the question again? Ah, that was it. Yes. Yeah, interesting question. Happy Cub from Pennsylvania. Do giraffes tend to each other's offspring like other animals do? And as far as I know, they don't. I've not heard of them tending to each other's offspring, because giraffes are funny creatures. They I'm just watching out for any little movement now. Still no tracks as yet. But they social, but they won't stay in a herd. So maybe one day they decide that they want to be with other giraffes, so they'll be going around in the herd, and then maybe a few days later they decide, you know what, I want to be on my own. Just a bit like the buffalo, yes, the buffalo. Buffalo bulls. Buffaloes. A head just popped. The American buffalo just popped into my head. That doesn't sound right. Oh, there's a redback shrike just sitting in the tree here, but he's just jumped right through to the back there. I just wasn't quick enough at seeing him. But yeah, just like the Duggar boys we saw earlier. Some days they would like to be with other males, some days they just want to be on their own, and giraffes are very much like that. And the strongest bond is between mother and calf, but that can also disappear once the calf grows up and she moves on. So they don't stay attached to each other. Now we might just lose you through this dip, so bear with us. Anybody with the involved at Gary down? Again, you can see there's a lot of shade here. Again, this is perfect. As most of you are aware, there is one particular leopard I would love to catch up with, and I'm hoping this week she's going to make her way back, because she has been away. It sounds like she's been at Chitwa, which is just down the road, and to the south of where we are, just outside of her normal boundary, which is very normal for leopards. They will move around every so often to go and find food. Sandy in New York, welcome on board. And Sandy was actually just asking, do we get any leopard sightings? And we do, Sandy, and I'm so keen to find leopard. We have had a couple of very brief visuals of Karula's boys. Karula you will hear a lot of. As I say, she was, or her family was the main focus of the paper that we wrote, and we actually witnessed the interactions of her family, and she actually left her mate to babysit the cubs while she ran off after a daycare. Much to the bemusement of the male leopard, but the cubs actually followed him away, and it was just an incredible morning. It really was. And as I say, she's actually shared a lot of insight into leopards in the Sabi Sands with us. We really have been so privileged to be able to follow her so closely. And she's had the cubs playing around the vehicle. And as I say, it's great to hear that Dr. Becky Thomas and Professor Mark Fellows, who helped me write the paper, they actually work for Reading University, or University of Reading, it's the correct title, and that's who I did my PhD through. And it was through their help that we could actually write the paper and get it out there in the academic world, because nothing was known about leopards interacting on that scale. And as I said, she witnessed it here on WildEarth, so that's why I'm so keen to catch up with this lady. Yeah. She is so special. She's actually been my inspiration to go on and do leopard research, which is what my PhD is all about. And it's actually in an area where they're not protected like they are here in the Sabi Sands. Anybody could hunt them if they have a permit. They go and ask for a permit in the area, and they can hunt them if they wanted to. So life is very different for those leopards out there. But Karula's had 4 sets of cubs that she successfully reared to adulthood. The first 2 were girls, Tandy and Saseka. And then she had 2 boys, Mishu and Induna. And Induna stuck around for 3 years before he left the area. Then she had Shavinzi and Shabambalana. Shavinzi, we're not sure what happened to her. We think she dispersed when she was about just over a year old, but we haven't heard about her since. It could be that she's still around, but just gone under the radar, or something might have happened to her. And then, there's the Ellies. So this must be the elephants that were drinking at Gowrie Dam. Good afternoon to you. And looks like there's another one there. I think there's been a couple of people concerned at how close we're getting to the Ellies. Now we're actually not getting that close to the Ellies. Remember, we've got a good zoom on the camera. I'm giving them a very respectable distance. If the elephants want to come to us, that's a different story. And generally speaking, if an elephant approaches, it's like any animal, it's on their terms. And they generally are a lot calmer because it's on their terms. Now, if we were to get as close to them as what they've got to us, that'd be like bursting their bubble. And that's when they get very upset. But we are good, what? Oh. That young bull just showing off there a little bit. There's another bull that he was saying that to. So like here, it's, oh, there we go. Hello lady, there's a couple of youngsters here as well. Now we are good, what, 40, 50 meters away from this herd. I wonder if she's wanting to cross here. Wanting to cross here. And I think someone was a bit concerned that they thought I'd put myself in the middle of an elephant herd, and that's not the case at all. That is one thing you do not do, is put yourself in the middle of an elephant herd, unless, again, you're sitting there and the elephant herd actually splits around you, but again, that's on their terms. But one thing you do not want to do is actually drive through an elephant herd and split them up, because they get very upset with that. But we actually just watch what's going on all around us all the time. Oh, that little one wants to drink, look. Hi Lucy, welcome on board this afternoon. And Lucy would like to know what my favourite... Oh, look at that baby. Lucy would like to know what my favourite animal is and what I'd like to find more of on drive. And I think certainly the leopard is well up there. My favourite's always been tigers. And I know I'm in the wrong country for that. But leopards really are the African equivalent. And rhinos. I love rhinos. I always have done ever since I worked with them in captivity. They're highly intelligent, and there's so much more going on with them than what people realise. Oh, there's a baby there. Even smaller than that one, look. Oh, how adorable. Now you can see it's very thick bush here, and it'd be very wrong for me to try and go any closer and to even try and get in there. We would disturb the elephants and we'd get too close, especially with so many babies. You would be looking for trouble. So that's why we're staying on the road. We're staying at quite a distance from them. And we're just making sure that they're nice and happy, and if anything changes, which sometimes it can, sometimes, you know, they have the bad days, and actually, you know, 40, 50 meters is still too close, but she'll let us know if that is the case. You can see they're just busy feeding at the moment. And that's what we check on all the time. Now, the bull that approached the other day, there is two bulls. Oh, something's happened. You see, all of the elephants have just moved back this way. I wonder if the leopard isn't in here. Yeah, they're all coming back this way, look. I say that bull approaching us the other day was also a different story. We were probably about the same distance, about 50-60 meters away from him, because he was in must as well, so I kept my distance, because they can be unpredictable. But all through that time he never showed any aggression. We followed him for a good 15 minutes before, we sat with him for another 15 minutes, so we must have been with him for a good half an hour. And then he actually decided now he's going to walk towards us. But again, there was no aggression shown. It was, when he was right next to us, it was just curiosity. It was just showing a little bit of male bravado, because obviously he was in must. but I never felt threatened by him. And this is what I was trying to explain to somebody who sent an email in to me. Unless you've been in that situation where an animal has actually gone for you, and I've actually had that situation with a giraffe. I don't know what I did to it, I don't know why, but this giraffe decided he was coming for me. He was a captive giraffe, and he was the smallest of the giraffes, and I think that was one of the things. He wanted someone to bully, and I wasn't very confident at that stage, and I think he knew it, and he just decided, no, he is going to take it out on me. And I could just see a difference in him. There was something in his eye that said, I'm coming for you. And I managed to get out just in time as he turned and kicked, and somebody who was watching actually said his leg was centimetres from my head. So he meant business, and I knew it. There was just something about the way he was coming. Just said to me, get out of there, girl, you're in trouble. Whereas the bull elephant, I just did not pick that up, and I've actually experienced that with a number of wild creatures, and I think it is the same thing. The day I know that animal's coming for me, I'll know. But the two encounters that I've had with elephants, I knew that the heart wasn't in it. The heart, it's very difficult to explain, but hopefully that gives you some indication. And obviously the more experience that you do pick up with these things, the more you learn and the more you do get to recognise it, but also you want to make sure you don't become blasé, because that's when you have problems as well. Well, whatever spooked them, maybe it wasn't the cat, so whatever spooked them, they've settled down again. Are you okay to go round? Okay. Hello. How are you? Hello. Good. How's it going?
Very good.
Oh, good.
Any English?
No, they did have a bit of a spook here just now, and they just ran this way, but they're going back again. So I don't know if it's in here or whether the boys. There was those two young bulls here messing around, so I don't know if that had something to do with it. But so any more on consoles from that side? No. Texan and Ephraim going north?
Yes.
Are they? Okay. Okay.
Okay,
No
I'll let
worries.
you know.
Yeah, sure. Well, I'll let you know if I see anything out as well.
Okay, nice.
My radio, I've got to do every few seconds, so I'll give you it in bursts of 3.
Okay,
No worries. Enjoy your safari.
thank you. Bye.
So yeah, I must admit I would love to catch up with some leopard a little bit more this week, but I think we've been very lucky to have had some of the encounters that we have had. They've really been quite amazing. And we've had the spotted hyena, and that's one thing for me. It's actually the animal behaviour I really enjoy watching, and that's why I will try and spend time with the animals, because you pick up so much more about them. Okay, we have the herd looking like they're going to start crossing in front of us and around us by the looks of it. And this is exactly what I was saying before. It's up to them if they want to come to us. Hello, lady. There we go. Very silent. Absolute credit for such large animal. You're looking at the largest land animal in Africa. Are you making a sound as that? Look at this. And obviously they were just assessing us, seeing how we are going to react. So I think we passed whatever tests they were giving to us, because these babies are obviously going to be very vulnerable out in the open, and they've just crossed. Look at that. While we were here. And that's also something else, you know, if you spend the time with the animals and they just get to realise that you're not a threat, you're not a problem, and then, as I say, they actually start to gain they gain your trust, and you gain their trust, and it's just this mutual understanding that, you know, there's not going to be any harm done. You can just carry on with your day and do what you want to do, and we're just not going to interfere. Go ahead. Copy that. Copy. I'll try from this northern side. I'll try the northern side, this side. Oh, that was just so special. I actually thought they were going to cross in front, but I think because the rest of the herd were a little bit further down, they did cross a little bit further back. If she wasn't happy, she wouldn't have crossed. And as I say, the other animal I'd love to see more of is the rhino. But unfortunately, the poaching that is happening here in South Africa, it is a huge problem. We not showing rhino just on the off chance somehow information gets back. Unfortunately, poachers are just so well equipped, and they know all the tricks of the trade like we do. They know how to locate rhino. There's nothing that we could teach them. But the sad thing is, rhino poaching is a fact, and if we don't, the rhino in the wild in 4 to 5 years' time, that is absolutely frightening. Absolutely frightening. And as I say, they're so graceful, and they're actually quite a humble creature for such a large creature. You know, you're talking about 2 tons. And they get scooped so easily. This might be the impala herd. Apparently they heard the impala calling. Good afternoon, Tex. Good to hear you. Very well. I missed you before you left. Okay, copy. No worries. Thanks, Tex. Hello again. You've got a twin down there. It's good to see you behind the wheel, hey?
Yeah, it's a fresh ones are fresh.
Yeah.
Oh. Steam strong.
I wonder if it wasn't those elephants then.
Yes.
I didn't see anything.
Okay, give you things.
Okay, well we'll go up and around that way then. Yeah, Mark.
You see? This is the one I'm talking about.
It wasn't me. Yeah, so I wonder if it wasn't those in glove then chasing it.
Looks like just put out the sand.
No worries, I'll catch you in a bit. Was it over my own consoles?
Sorry?
Was it over my own consoles? Was it over my own consoles?
I don't think so because...
No. Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I might have missed it then. Okay, cool. We'll do a lap around. Okay, cool. Oh. It's just catching up with one of the guys from another lodge, and he was actually a tracker when I was here, but it looks like he's passed his guiding exams and he's actually guiding now, which is brilliant. A lovely, lovely guy. So it's just saying, so I must have missed where that leopard crossed, so I must have been too focused on the elephants up ahead. The leopard did cross towards quarantine, so apparently my tracks were over it, because I thought maybe those elephants were scared. But I think they must have just been spooked by something else, maybe. Can you send that question through that was coming through earlier? I didn't quite catch it. Calling here. Okay. It was the one before that. Yeah, I couldn't quite hear it. So some of you may have been missing when I've been saying the road names. So we are on the quarantine. So remember we came up Weaver's Nest Road, that's where we saw the giraffe. And then we went on to Twin Downs Road. Just back around here, because we did hear those Franklin. Oh, we're so close, I can feel it. I'm just trying to see if we can put ourselves in the right area to try and see if we can catch up with a spotted cat this afternoon. Everything is pointing towards this block now. Let's say I was very eager to catch up with those ellies. So I missed what was being left behind on the... Hello, woodland kingfisher. What was being left behind on the bush newspaper. Just heard the Franklins here. So now we're just really relying on maybe another alarm call. just to try and pinpoint where this cat might be. Good afternoon. Good, how are you doing, Ephraim? Hello, how are you?
Coming this way.
Yeah, they crossed just at the corner that side. They crossed up this way. We just heard Franklin's just in here.
Yeah, I think I will check inside. Because from one of the beds, like in the Garagan, we book a one ingo just running.
Okay.
With the bamba, the bush pack.
Okay.
Yeah, I was running away.
Okay. So it might be worth trying down there a bit later then.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'll try to go in here to check.
Okay.
Hey,
Well,
how are you? Good, thank you.
just keep a sharp eye out. I really do think it is just close by. I'm on the edge of my seat. Let's say this literally is live and anything can happen. And I feel it's been too long since we've seen the spotted cats. Where's that squirrel? Squirrel's calling. Squirrel might see it. Trouble is, squirrel could also be seeing a bird of prey, a snake. But Ephraim's gone that side, so we'll stay this side and just see. Nope, not hearing the squirrel now. I've just heard the Franklin again, but it's not a typical call. Okay, well, let's do one more drive around the block here. Nope. I don't hear that squirrel. And we might be lucky with the elephants again. Remember they came with this block just a few moments ago, so we might be lucky to see them again. So plenty of babies. Just heard some more Franklins. So Ephraim was saying that little two-track that I wanted to try, he was confirming there was a carcass there, and they did see a leopard there briefly. So I think we'll wait until it cools down a little bit to go and see if it's around there again. We might even pop up there now, because it is starting to cool off a little bit actually. I do want to leave a bit of time between when they went and if we go through, because the cat might come back. But it's exactly where I just had this feeling leopard was. I remember saying to Brian, this is leopard habitat, this is perfect. I'm feeling leopard here. And I wasn't far wrong. I just think it was just a little bit too far into the bush for us to see. There's the ellies. I think that might have been the last of the ellies. On board, Donna from Maine. Great to hear from you this afternoon. And Donna wanting to know, have I ever found a discarded ellie tooth? Because remember, the elephants see if we can actually pull over for the vehicle. But yeah, so they do actually replace their teeth. Remember, they move from the back to the front, and they have 6 sets throughout their life, and they replace as the old ones get worn down and fall out. And I think they actually, as far as I understand, they just get worn down and crumble out. So I think it's parts of tooth rather than full bits of tooth. It'd be amazing to find the milk tusk of the baby elephants, because the baby elephants do actually have milk tusks, and they will shed them after about a year, and then their proper tusks will come out, just like we have our milk teeth. And remember, those tusks of the elephants are actually the front teeth. So they're these teeth here, and they grow outwards, but then they don't have the molars or the canines like we do. They almost like on a conveyor belt, and they move down to the front of the jaw.
One of the young horses dropped back.
Yeah, I think the Schlambi went.
Oh, that side?
Yeah, they had quite a few manpimpans.
Oh.
So, no luck, eh?
Nothing inside.
I wonder if he's Lalapans in there.
Yeah, I might be Lalapans because it's too hot.
Yeah.
I'll be go around again.
Yeah, well, we'll also do a loop around.
Okay, no problem, baby.
No worries.
Thanks.
Oh, here they are, Ephraim.
Ephraim.
The elephants. There's just one elephant. He's just gone behind the bush there. Yeah, just the one. But I think the Schlambi went this way. Just saw 1 or 2 going through here. Yeah, lekker. Yeah, here comes the young bull. Well, let's just wait here for him to see him again. There's a couple here. Just slowly making their way out, and I think because the family's already crossed over, they should be making their way there slowly. And those teeth are going to be used to eat bark and fairly hard vegetation, fairly rough vegetation, so those teeth do go through quite a beating. Move forward a little bit, you should be able to see her. I think this is one of the females. Yeah, the calf's in tow. I think this must be a young bull from the previous birth. It looks to be maybe about 10, 12. You can see a little bit more independent from mum. Hello, beautiful boy. See, he's not quite sure of us. But did you see that stance? He had his ears open, so he was just saying that I'm big. Take notice of me. And as I say, that was just him just making sure that we weren't going to do anything to him, because he was quite young, so he's still learning his way around the world. You can see he had his trunk wrapped up and just sniffing us as well. But he's just behind us, he's fine. And mum's just there as well, so I think she might just cross the road. Let me just see if I can turn around and we can see them briefly again before they disappear. Should be okay to turn around here, yeah. Gail in Warwick. Good afternoon to you, Gail. And I'm just about to put on what Gail's asking about, my sunglasses, because unfortunately the sun is right in our faces. And Gail was actually wanting to know if animals might find it threatening if I do wear my sunglasses, because it actually accentuates my eyes. And very occasionally I've seen it happen. And it was actually to a lion, believe it or not. There's a lot of tourists do wear sunglasses, and as I say, I've not really seen animals react. But the one time, and I wonder if my mum's watching tonight, because it actually happened to her. And I've never seen it happen since, but she did have fairly large sunglasses on. And she was looking at this young lioness, and this lioness wasn't sure what to do. She actually started walking towards the vehicle, and the lions were all chilled out and they were all relaxed, and they were just there, we were there. And as I say, this young lioness, she was probably about a year and a half old. She suddenly noticed the sunglasses, but I didn't know what was going on at this stage, so she started acting a bit odd, and she kind of pretended that she was sniffing something fairly close to the vehicle, and then she kind of froze, and then she couldn't decide what to do. She couldn't decide whether she was going to kind of settle herself in to pounce or whether to run. And you could see this conflict going on, and I realised, hey, hold on a minute, this is not cool. So I actually sort of shouted and went, hey, just to break her contact, because I actually didn't realise my mum was looking directly at her, and she was looking directly at my mum. So I shouted, hey, and that broke her concentration. And then she turned around and walked away, and I looked back and I actually realised that that was what the problem was. It was because my mum was looking straight at the lion, and eye contact with any cats is actually a direct threat. And I don't think it's too much of a problem most of the time, because the cats don't tend to look at you. Because again, they get used to the vehicles, and it's like, oh, okay, it's one of those things again. But I think because she was quite a young female, she wasn't sure, she'd never seen it before, quite possibly, or she'd never noticed it before. And that's why she reacted, because she just didn't know what was going on. But I have certainly kept my eye out for it since. I haven't seen it in herbivores, and that was really what she was asking. It was actually to do with the herbivores. And do they think it's a predator? So it's not so much the herbivores, but the cats. Because eye contact is so important part of their body language, I think that really did have something to do with it. And having that male lion walk right next to the vehicle, I actually did communicate with him with my eyes. Oh, look at this. Oh, look at that baby. You can see again, they're not even giving us the time of day now. Look at that. And there's little baby. Wait for me, Mum. Oh. Oh, that's beautiful. I don't know if you can hear that deep rumbling. That's from the ways that the elephants communicate. Matriarch saying, come on, let's get going. Oh, hello. Just picked up a pace a little bit. Hello. They just picked up a pace. Let's just have a quick look there. So yeah, as the lion walked by, I did just slip my eyes slightly and just look away. Now in cat language, that means you're okay. You don't need to worry. And if you ever notice your pet cat, it'll do that to you. So if you're looking at the cat will quite often slit its eyes, so they're very narrow, and then look away from you, and that is actually them saying, yeah, you're alright. Oh, I see why. Just to our left, there's our close encounter. And with the bull being immersed, they've got babies, and I think maybe she didn't want the babies too close to the bull immersed, because they actually have been known to kill, or to at least chase elephants. I think I did read that they have killed female elephants just because of the amount of testosterone running around the body. It can be 60 times more than normal. You can see they really are just trying to put a bit of distance between him and them, so there's obviously no females in the estrus there. I think that's what was happening. But it looks like he is not phased at all. Not in the slightest. Yeah, they've slowed down now, look. You might, if I just turn around, you might be able to see. So apparently he wasn't too phased about the females coming through. He's quite happy. Oh, where did you guys come from? Let's just have a quick look. That is Franklin's giving alarm call, and they came from the centre of the quarantine. Let's just have a quick look. He's just happy eating Maruda fruits. That's what I mean. For a bull in must, he is very relaxed. Did that cat slip by us all? At least Franklin came from somewhere here. Somewhere here. I need Impala just to give me a little heads up at where it is. Why did you give the alarm call? So it is still a little bit warm. Hi Jane in Canada. It's actually very true what you're saying. The baby elephants always look like they've got a smile on their face. They really do, don't they? She's asking why. And it could be something to do with their milk tusks. Maybe it's just holding their mouth up. I honestly don't know, but they do look like they smile. Maybe it is because the head is so small. But it could have something to do with the way the teeth are at that stage. I'm not seeing what these Franklins were calling about. I really thought we had it then. They're going to keep playing with me, aren't they, these leopards? Maybe I should play reverse psychology on them. I don't want to see you. None of us want to see you. Unless we go and check out the carcass and then come back here. As I say, it is still that little bit warm, so it could be lying at me. That's what we were talking about. Yeah, the Impala running this way. But they're not running away from something. I think they're just wanting to get to the open area. Oh, little babies. Let's actually back up here, see maybe something running and leaping showing off how athletic they are. Yeah, the rest of the impala herd are on the way, but let's say it was more of a run to somewhere rather than a run away from somewhere. Oh, here they are. Just stopped here actually. Get behind this tree. See that front female just checking everything out, just making sure everything is safe. Obviously they've had a scare this afternoon. Apparently just before, or just as we were out on drive down by Zoe's road, they were calling. So they picked up something. You can see she's on very high alert. Look at that posture. Ears forward, nose forward. Trying to pick up any bit of information, anything that might give away the fact that there is a predator in the area. The rest of the herd are taking the time to come up this side. So we are on the quarantine still. We're just on the road that leads down towards the Gowrie Dam. And if you have just tuned in, welcome aboard this afternoon. We've got very fresh leopard tracks coming into this area behind me here. So we're pretty sure there's a leopard in this area. And there was a leopard seen up on the shortcut. The guys did have a very brief visual, but it ran off. So I'm trying to give the leopard time just to settle down, and I would like to go around there and check out. Apparently there is a carcass there. So it might be worth us actually going there once it cools off a little bit. And we might be lucky with seeing the leopard there. Ooh! Green pigeon. Oh, there he is, sitting up in the top of the tree. Unfortunately, you might be backlit, but you might still be able to see it. Yeah, he is backlit, unfortunately. Can't see the green of those feathers. It was his call that just gave him away. Hopefully you heard it. Hi, Christy in Oklahoma. Christy just asking about the elephants we saw earlier. And Christy wanting to know, do the baby elephants ever hold the mother's hold the mother's tail in the trunk? And occasionally they do, apparently. Especially if they're crossing somewhere like a river and it's quite treacherous. I've never seen it out here in the savannah. But where the river could potentially wash baby away, apparently they do, and the mother will actually hold the tail of the baby as well, so at least they've got hold of baby. So this is the rest of the herd. Interesting that they've split off again, because this is what happened this morning. We had the herd on the other side of the dam, and then we had the smaller herd that we've just seen on our side of the dam. Okay, this female is obviously just keeping an eye on things. I wonder if the leopard isn't in this little area here. I want to split myself in two again. I want to leave half of me here and half of me to go and check out the carcass. Because I just have this feeling as soon as we leave, leopard's going to pop out. And it's all going to kick off. So these guys look pretty relaxed now. Stay safe, ladies. So everyone was saying it was a bush book that's been caught at the back. On that little 2-track. So it is getting slightly cooler. As I say, this leopard here might come out of hiding. I'm just wondering if it isn't worth us just making our way around there now. It's been quite a while. It just depends on how open. It was fairly open. Okay, Franklin just giving its normal call in here. No alarm call. Oh, Birchall's cuckoo. There he goes. Beautiful couple wings. Very cool. We've been hearing him. It's nice to finally see him. Relative to the cuckoos, that he does build his own nest, but this is very normal of his behaviour, bobbing around in those bushes. That's why you don't tend to see them very often. There you go, disappearing. Now it's actually the honey guides who are the family that have all members that are brood parasites, which means they lay eggs in other birds' nests. The cuckoos are related to the cuckoos, so they're the reason why the cuckoos... Oh, there's the mate. Very nice, got a pair of Birchall's cuckoos. Live here on WildEarth. Beautiful. As I say, it's these birds that actually make the cuckoo family not completely parasitic, and the widers are the other type of birds that will also lay eggs in other birds' nests, but they also have members of their family who will build their own nests as well. So it's just the honey guides who, all members of that family, lay eggs in other birds' nests. Brood parasites. And those chicks will be reared by the host. Okay, so we're going to take a wander. I'm going to leave this cat. So we'll wander there and then we'll wander back down again, hopefully in time to see this cat walking across quarantine. How about that? Go and check out this carcass. We've got some impala down that side. They haven't picked anything up as yet. Just nice to know where everybody is. So we're now heading over a Gowrie Dam wall. as you are following us on the map. And we're going to head up Vancouver Road into 2-track, which I don't think will be marked on the map. I don't remember seeing it. And so I think this little 2-track's been formed by many a visit to this drainage line behind the lodge. We're just going to check down here in this drainage line, just in case somebody's come out the woodworks and they're just taking advantage of all the shelter, all the shade that's down here now. All the Duggar boys still resting up, and that's still there as well. That's pretty much where we left him this morning, so obviously he was choosing himself a lack of spot just to snooze for the day. Very cool. So, umming and ahhing whether he was going to try and pick out the buffalo. But maybe he decided he actually wanted the company instead. Hello, Littell Franklin. You seen anything? Apparently not. Well, if you do, be sure to let us know, hey? Yeah, you can see that bright orange beak and the bright orange legs of the Natal spurfowl. Used to be called the Franklin. It'll always be a Franklin to me. It's funny, whatever name you learn, it sticks with you, doesn't it? But you can see the spurs on the back of the legs there, and the bird on the right hand side of your screen. That's where it gets the name spurfowl from. Bit of important preening there. But we're going to head on up, because this is probably the hottest lead that we've got in terms of hopefully finding a leopard for you this afternoon. That sun has just got a little bit harsh. Trouble is, it's just going to be that time of day where going through the areas where there's a little bit of shadow, it's quite dark, with sunglasses on. Need the ones that will change as you go through different light. More impala. Enjoy the last of the remaining sunlight. It's very pleasant now, this temperature. Yeah, I'm on my way there. Can I come and join you? to know this little bit of drainage line very well. I think we actually helped make this 2-track. We had a number of sightings down here. Karula with the cubs. We actually had the lions this side as well. Because someone has just beat us to it, but he reckons he can see the leopard in the tree. So I think it's in this area where we should be coming up to it now. Someone obviously had the same idea as me. Great minds think alike. Yep, there's the vehicle. So the leopard shouldn't be too far away. Now I did say it's in the tree with the kill. Just trying to see where it is. So we're actually right behind where old FC was. And they've actually put a nice little water hole in here now. So it's up this side, okay. Just this side. Oh yeah. Oh, just above it. Okay. Oh yeah. There we go. I can see a tail. Do you want to maybe pull forward and then I can just work in around you? It's just in here. I can't see it just yet. Yeah. I'll just wait for them to pull in and then we'll work around them. You want to pull in and I'll work around you? No worries. Could just about see a tail through there. Can you see the tail? There we are. And here he's actually eating. So he's actually in the drainage line, just opposite where we are. And I say he's actually just at the back of our old camp. No worries. So there's just a couple of vehicles who are just moving in just to have a quick look, and then we'll move to try and get a better view for you.
Right over.
Can you see what it's got there, man?
The bushbuck apparently.
Oh, is it? Yeah, we're just about in that room.
Good luck, guys.
Thanks. No worries. Okay, so once that vehicle's pulled out, we'll try and get into a better position for you. Cool. No worries, thanks. We both had the same mind. I was literally on that 2-track. I was thinking, I'll go now. Oh, looks a little bit unsteady up there. It's actually an Tamborchi tree. Perfect, thank you. Okay, so we're just moving over a little bit so we can actually pull in and have a better view. Hello. Oh, beautiful. Should we move just forward a little bit? Can you still see? Yeah. Awesome, thank you. Yeah, the other one might be up by Ingaskaya. Okay. Yeah, so we thought we'd leave doing the circuit around there, come and see what was going on here and then head back there again.
Who do you think this is?
I'm actually not sure, maybe it is one of the young boys. Ah, yeah, it could be. I had it written down the difference because I'm still learning myself. I actually haven't seen these boys. I've just seen he's got the spots right next to his eye.
I guess he's quarantined.
Yeah, quarantine has the spots right next to his eye, so I think that's it, who it is. But we'll see if we can get the confirmation with the viewers back home, because they're usually very good at IDing. So if anyone can help us out with the ID, I think it is the quarantine male. Because I think I saw briefly just the triangle of spots right next to his eye, so if anyone can get a good screenshot and let us know what you think. Questions at wildearth.tv or #SafariLive.
See you later.
Cool, thanks. Catch you later. Not phased at all. Bye. What a beautiful boy. So clearly Karula did utilise this area with them like she has done in the past with the others. And I am so happy to catch up with him for you this afternoon. Oh, I'm so thrilled to see him. It's been too long. And thanks again to Ellen and Rosie who've been helping me out, trying to learn. You can see actually how far away we are from him. So they've been trying to help me out with the identification of the leopards. And as I say, I saw briefly there's the triangle of spots by either eye, and then he actually has almost like a black triangle underneath his eye, and I'm seeing that there as well. And that's the beauty of Sabi Sands leopards, we actually get to see their faces a lot. Now, my research involves camera traps, and unfortunately I get to see the back end more than I see the front end of the leopard. So I know my leopards from the back end. Aha! A lot of people are confirming quarantine male. Thanks guys. Say thanks to Ellen and Rosie for helping me out with all the pictures they've been sending me of the boys. Just so it helps me ID them in the field. It really does help to learn from the pictures. It really has been a huge help. Thanks ladies. Because I like to know who we're having a look at as well. He looks like he has been eating on this already, because his stomach is pretty well swollen. And I did hear a squirrel chirping away a couple of days ago, and I wonder if it was this male hanging around. And as I say, driving around I had this really good feeling it was him. We had the tracks coming over from Final Control, where it is now, coming over Voyatel access towards this area, and we drove around here with Brian the other day, and so I just had this feeling that it was here, and I just couldn't quite get to see it. So he obviously was hiding very well in the bush, but if we can maybe scan down, you can see the drainage line, maybe where he is. He's a good, what, 10-15 meters off the ground at the moment. There you go, you can see the drainage line there. And as I say, just through there is where camp used to be. And Karula was actually quite naughty. She would actually come in and steal some of the clothes off the washing line. She never did it when I was there, but certainly the previous WildEarth crew. She would take off any towels or white laundry and she'd roll around in it. And I do remember Misha and Duna stealing a towel, and they were running around in the drainage line here, and it wasn't as open as what it is now. And they were playing around with it, and I remember Jess, the chef, saying she was sitting on a veranda. That's the hippo in Gowrie Dam. But she says she remembers hearing or seeing this towel just every so often being thrown into the trees and then pulled off and then thrown again. That's what comes from living with leopards. And I wouldn't have it any other way. This is so special. And if you're joining us live on WildEarth this afternoon, this for me is just perfect. The perfect end to a lovely drive. Seeing a leopard feeding on a carcass, seeing that he is in tip-top condition, it is just wonderful. So we have the quarantine male here, who is one of the cubs raised by Karula. Apparently he is coming up for about 2 years old. Karula has had another set of cubs since. Unfortunately, one of those was taken by a hyena. We're not sure how many she had. We're not sure if she still has one. It could be that she has. But only time will tell. How special is this? Any questions you might have about leopards, send them through to questions@wildearth.tv, #SafariLive. It was amazing to see his tail actually You can see how long their tail is, and that helps them with the balance when they are climbing the trees. And it really can't be easy. He's actually on quite a thin branch in the tamborti tree there. And if you remember me saying that's one of their favourite trees to put kills in, and there you go, just proving that about the leopards right now. But quite why, I'm not sure. I don't know if it's because they've got such a straight trunk and it is quite safe. Other predators are going to find it very difficult to get up the tree to get the kill. And there is actually a very nice marula tree that we're sat right next to. And looking at it, I'd have thought he would have gone for that one more. The branch looks a little bit wider, but no, tamborti tree it is. And this is the perfect location for him to actually have his carcass, because the water hole is just a few meters away. So once he's had his fill and he's had a bit of a rest, he can just make a quick dash down to the water, drink, and come back again and protect his kill. And that is why leopards do take the kills up into the trees, to protect it from other predators. Don't be fooled into thinking that lions don't climb trees. I have seen it. We have heard of it in the Sabi Sands. Lioness actually climbing a tree and stole, or tried to steal, the kill away from Mufufanyan, who I've been talking about quite early on Drive. And he had a warthog up in the tree, and he actually hit the lioness over the head to try and stop her climbing any further into the tree. I'm going to maybe just move back slightly, just so we can maybe see a little bit clearly. See if we can see his head a little bit more clearly. Can you see a little bit more clearly? A little bit. Now you might remember me talking about the cheek teeth, and you can see him really going to work on that carcass with his cheek teeth. You can see him turning his head to either side, trying to use that carnassial shearing teeth. A pair of teeth that are extremely sharp, and it helps them just to shear off the meat from the bone. Occasionally you can hear the crunching, and they will eat bits of bone. Helps to help the calcium and the phosphorus and all the other minerals that bones do contain as part of the diet. They also do need to eat feathers. They also contain nutrients apparently. It's part of the healthy, balanced diet. Although for the most part they will pluck them. There'll be one or two that they'll ingest. Hi Marcia in Canada, welcome on board this afternoon. Marcia wanting to know what the lifespan of a leopard is. And it obviously will depend a lot on where they live. Here in the sands we've actually tracked, it was actually Karula's mother, Safari. She was 19, one of the oldest leopards on record here in the sands, when she died. And I think White Cloth was also around that age, 19, when she died. And she actually didn't die of disease, she died protecting her young against one of the male leopards who was trying to kill her son. I think he was about a year old, and unfortunately she died, but I think he actually survived. And if memory serves me correctly, I think he was Spuckle, which means ghost. You didn't see him very often. I wonder if he is still around. But it's funny now doing my leopard research, I'm looking at the legs. I think Anne from the UK also wanted to know how long leopards live for in the wild. But yeah, I'm looking at the legs because it's the spots on the legs on the camera trap pictures that I get that are usually in focus. I say it's a real treat to be able to see the head for a change. So yeah, but the normal average lifespan for a leopard, you're looking about 16, 17 years old. But what was quite amazing about Safari is she actually had one eye, and that's how you could tell that it was Safari, because she had this huge swollen blue eye, and she was like that for years. And she managed to hunt, and she really did well. And then one day she wasn't seen, and then the next day, and the next day, and then it got to the point where people were saying, we haven't seen Safari for a while, and that was quite abnormal. You'd quite often see her every few days. And she would be the grandmother of this little cub. Well, he's not so little anymore, and he's not really a cub, he's about 2 years old now. And obviously showing he has learnt how to hunt for himself. He is doing extremely well. He looks in tip-top condition. Really quite a privilege to be here with him. He is on the most narrowest of branches. Hi, Sandra in Pennsylvania, welcome on board this afternoon. Sandra just asking about the child who was being a little bit vocal earlier. And you could see he actually had a good look at her. And cats and children are not a good mix. I have seen on a number of occasions lions going for very small children. And I've actually had guests saying, no, I want to take my child on safari, and I said, look, I'm sorry, it will put their life in danger. Because the leopards, the lions on the reserve that we used to work at were very keen when it came to children, and when they made high-pitched noises, because that's very similar to distress calls of animals. I'm going to just try and move back a little bit as soon as he's starting to come down. Just see if I can get another view of him nicely. Hi Hi, Mike in Florida. The kill, I believe, is a bushbuck, we've been told. But as far as the hunting goes, if the cat was hunting, if there was a child there, would it distract? And probably not, just because when they're hunting they are so focused. It will take a lot to distract the cat from its quarry. It always amazes me, no matter how much blood they get around their face and their paws, they always make sure they're nice and clean afterwards. Very particular. You're gonna come down and say hello, mister? It's amazing, this really brings it back home. How often have you seen your own cat doing this? Hi, Lynn. Great to hear from you from Michigan. And welcome on board, and I hope you're enjoying this live sighting of a leopard this afternoon, of the quarantine male here on WildEarth. And Lynn would like to know, why do lions and leopards stuff themselves? And it literally is they wanting to utilise what they've caught. And especially in this hot sun, the meat will go rotten very quickly. Now, cats can eat fairly rotten meat, but they do seem to have a preference. If it's fresh, they prefer to eat it fresh rather than have rotten. So they tend to go for the rotten if they're very hungry, if they haven't caught anything for a while. So it's making use of what they've caught and making use of it before it does go rotten. So they will gorge themselves, and that's really how they operate as well. They'll gorge themselves and they'll keep eating until they can't eat any more and it looks like they're going to burst, and they somehow manage to fit in more, and then they just sleep it off and rest. So on a bushbuck, this little male probably won't need to hunt again until maybe 4 or 5 days time. But it doesn't mean to say he won't take the opportunity. If the opportunity is there, he would take it. But it just gives him a bit of a breathing space. But it does depend on how big that bushbuck is. Now, if it was a young bushbuck, you're looking at maybe 1 or 2 days. But if it was a female, which I suspect it might have been, then you're looking about maybe 4 or 5 days before he needs to hunt again. Are you going to come down and drink, mister? Oh, look at this, beautiful.
Maybe if you can go back a fraction, I'll put this pole. Just a small bit.
Yeah, they're beautiful. Yeah, you can see clearly now that triangle underneath his eyes and the triangle of spots either side of his eyes. He is beautiful. And he's such good condition as well. Oh, stunning. And he's going to be panting. It is still a little bit warm, but now that he's eaten just like us, it's going to start the body reactions and making the body warm. Oh. Where are you going to go, mister? Stations, Ingwe, coming down from the Shepti. And you see where he's gone?
Yeah, I can see it.
Oh, there. Okay. I'm just trying to work out, I think the game trail's here, because I don't want to be in the way of his game trail if he's wanting to come up here. Go ahead. Firm, he's on the ground now. Yeah, he's at the tree now. Yeah, it's starting to fan the north.
Yeah, I think maybe position the vehicle so it's...
Just hold on.
Okay.
Just hold on. See where he's gonna go. I don't want to move too much because otherwise we're going to spook him. Okay, so he's wanting to come up this way. I think he's actually wanting to go to the water. So let's just move around so we can actually get him towards the water. There we go. Hello, beautiful boy. Perfect. Hi, Patty on Twitter. Welcome on board, and what a special sight this is. Oh, I am so thrilled to have you guys on board. Well, we have the quarantine now with us here live on WildEarth. And Patty would like to know, is he big for his age? And he actually is a decent size for his age. I'd say he's got it for 2 years apparently. And he would certainly dwarf Karula at this stage, as most of her boys do. She's quite a small lady. Ingwe fammering to the Manzi. Go ahead. He's fammering to the Manzi. He's going to Puza Manzi. Puza Manzi. At the pan. Yeah, it's just myself. You're welcome to approach. Now, I've been filled in a little bit on the personality of this little male, but also when I first meet an animal, I like to just make sure that they get used to the fact that I'm not going to push the boundaries with them. That's why I like to. I was just trying to work out where he was going to go so we weren't going to be on top of him. Now, we've had Karula walk right by us before, but as I say, I don't know how he reacts to the vehicles. Don't know how comfortable he is. So you can see he was watching. We were a good 15-20 meters away from where he emerged, and he seemed to be quite happy with that. Now he's actually drinking, and you can see he's not really paying as much of attention anymore, so he seems to be quite settled with us. He's more interested in what's going on behind him at the back there. So I think just like your cat at home, tail always twitches. It could be the insects. There are a few mozzies coming out now. But whatever it is, you can see it's not directed towards us, the face isn't towards us. There's no part of that leopard saying he's uncomfortable with us being here, which is exactly what we want. I think there was a question coming through just as he was coming down the tree and asking, I forget who was actually asking it now. Was it Kathy? It might have been a Kathy. Asking if there's ever been a documentary made. Patty, almost there. Patty wanting to know, has there ever been a... Oh, it was Sandy in Virginia. Sandy in Virginia. Patty was the previous question. Sorry about that. But Patty wanting to know, has there ever been a documentary made on Karula? And there hasn't. But WildEarth... Good luck for you there, son. But WildEarth has been privileged to follow her for a good 8 years of her 11-year life. You're going to go and lie down there? Please do. Oh, beautiful. Ingwe Lalapans now. You're affirmative? The pan. On the 2-track. Ah, that's quite interesting. I don't know if you've noticed on the right at the tip of his tail it's black. And the leopards that I'm studying have also got a black spot right at the tip of the tail, and I've never seen that before on a leopard. I've only ever seen the white. It's right on the tip. I think it was actually Patty asking if the leopard was shaved, would the skin be spotted? I'm just trying to remember. I have seen them being shaved and I don't remember seeing the spots. It was just one little patch just to take a bit of blood, I think. But my memory is a little bit hazy about that. I don't remember them being spotted. But this is beautiful. You can see he's even got his back to us. He is not even pointing his ears anywhere towards us. He is so relaxed. This is fantastic. And somebody was asking what I would love to see more of on Drive, and this is it. Just spending time with a leopard, just seeing the behaviour. And say this is perfect time to see leopards start moving around. We timed it brilliantly. But something keeps catching his attention there. Maybe there's a little bird moving through the bush. But they're just like domestic cats. That tail just twitches when they're excited as well. You can see still panting away there. And the temperature has really become a very nice temperature now. As I say, that panting will be because he's eaten. So his body is starting to produce heat from the digestion. So he's just trying to get rid of as much heat as possible by panting. But he's also going to be keeping a listen out for any hyenas, although his kill is safely stashed away. Either side on the 2-track from Gallego. The 2-track open area behind Voyeurs. Yeah, fun. Yeah, it's still Lillipams. But yeah, his kill is safely stashed away in the tree, and that is why they do put the kill in the tree, as I said before, to keep it away from predators. Hyenas are not capable of climbing trees. And that is why they do stash them up there. Although sometimes they don't. Sometimes they'll actually stash it underneath a bush. Occasionally I've heard of leopards actually burying it. Hello, beautiful. And another sun sets over Africa. The evening chorus starts. And what better way to end the day than with probably one of the most iconic creatures in Africa, the leopard. Hear a hyena. Did you hear us? If a hyena came along now, chances are he would run and go and put himself into a tree out of harm's way. Although we have seen hyena come right up to the leopard when there hasn't been a kill around, and they've almost been nose to nose and there's been no problem. Well, unfortunately it is coming to the end of the drive, but I am so made up that we were able to actually spend a little bit of time with the quarantine males. I'm sure you guys are as well. It's been a long time coming, but he has been well worth it, and it is just wonderful to see Karula's legacy carries on in what is such a beautiful, beautiful male. Oh, Oh, I'm so made up. I'm so happy. I hope you guys are as well. I had that feeling today we needed to see the leopard. I thought we were going to see it. But this is the African bush. Anything can happen. Oh, and I'm just so chuffed. Thank you so much, everybody, for all your questions. I'm so glad we managed to spend a bit of time with the Ellies and the babies as well. It's been such a lovely drive. Andrew, thank you very much for your camera work this afternoon. And also Brian back in final control. Yeah, as I say, I'm just totally made up. I'm so chuffed we got to see him. And I think we definitely have to close down with a shot of him. So thanks everybody. Join me tomorrow morning on Game Drive, and I'm hoping we can maybe catch up with them and whatever else is here in the African bush. But for myself,